Hello and a warm welcome to TBC News. Our top stories tonight. Mineral processing, a priority in every region. Tanzania Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, TCCIA, in the remaking. Good evening. I am Nasa Kingu. Just a reminder, you can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest to our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages, all at TBC Online. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has instructed the regional commissioners in the country to give a priority to the investors who plan to invest in mineral processing in order to continue developing the sector, which contributes 9.7% to the national income. Here is the report by Reginald Nesika, read by Lulua Muhammad.
Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa, immediately after arriving in Mwanza region today, has officiated the mining conference and the general meeting of the Federation of Small-Scale Miners Associations, FEMATA. Addressing the conference that brings together more than 1,400 small-scale miners, traders, leaders and mining stakeholders from all over the country, Prime Minister Majaliwa says that mining sector is crucial to the national income.
If there is an investment in the construction of industry that involves mining and mineral production, that investor should be given that opportunity. We have seen its benefit now, and we are getting big factors like Geita project. We are told that there is a big factor here, as well as Dodoma, where there is a filtering factor, and this is a great development.
Majaliwa directs the small-scale miners to increase the value of various gems in order to expand the scope of markets and create jobs for Tanzanians.
The mining business should be genuine enough, and we should add value and not exporting raw materials. Raw materials should be used here. Let's expand the scope of market and job opportunity. Let us increase the availability of taxes instead of sending them abroad.
Recognizing the challenges faced by small-scale miners, especially the issue of capital and modern mining tools, the government, in collaboration with the National Mining Corporation, STAMICO, has made an agreement with banking institutions with the aim of lending capital to small-scale miners.
The ministry, through its institution STAMICO, has entered into an agreement with some banks in the country, such as NMB and ABC, which until now have lent more than 145 billion Tanzania shillings to small miners.
Nyazaga mine in Sengerema district is said to be one of the mines with the largest gold reserves in the country.
It is possible that it is the second largest mine in the whole of Tanzania. Honorable Prime Minister, I would like to congratulate the government as it continues to own 16% in the Sota Mining Company, which will continue to operate the mine.
Among the measures taken by the government to ensure the minerals contribute to the national income include the construction of 42 mineral markets that help to control the smuggling of minerals.
It has been stated that the contribution of government funds from mineral markets has increased from 2.62% since its inception to 28.36%.
The government's efforts in improving the mining sector have succeeded in increasing the sector's contribution to the national income from 2% in 2013 to 9.7%, while the government's goal is to reach 10% by 2025.
The SADC organ on politics, defense and security cooperation has recommended the deployment of regional forces within the framework of the bloc standby force to Eastern DRC. The move comes from a two-day extraordinary organ Troika Summit Plus, SADC Troika and Force Intervention Brigade FIB troop contributing countries which has ended in Windhoek. Here are more details with Blanche Goreses.
The deployment is a regional response to support the Democratic Republic of Congo to restore peace and security in the eastern part of the country. It is also informed by the SADC Field Assessment Mission, whose findings were considered during the extraordinary Organ Troika Summit Plus. Latest reports indicate that the security situation continues to deteriorate owing to the presence of multiple armed militias further committing heinous crimes against civilians.
We stand ready as a region to address the changing dynamics in Eastern DRC. Because of the resurgence of the M23 since last year, the proliferation of illegal armed groups, some of which launched attacks against civilians, state security agencies, and public infrastructure from neighboring countries. Our 4th Intervention Brigade has been deployed in Eastern DRC as part of United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, MONUSCO, with the aim of securing this part of the country and restoring its overall territorial integrity.
SADC also wants a coordinated approach in ending conflict in the mineral resource-rich DRC, given the multiple force deployment under bilateral and multilateral arrangements in the eastern parts. Apart from SADC Force Intervention Brigade embedded within the UN Stabilization Mission in the DRC, the East African Community, the International Conference on Great Lakes Region, and the Economic Community for Central African States all have troops on the ground. DRC is a member of all these regional groupings, and coordination to combat insurgencies has been a challenge.
In this regard, I wish to reiterate the importance of coordination and remind ourselves of the commitment we have made in January 2023 to convene the Tripartite Summit that would allow for a more coordinated, diplomatic, and peaceful approach. SADC is therefore ready to work closely with the AU, United Nations, and other regional groups to which DRC is a member, i.e., the East African Community, the International Conference on Great Lakes Region, the Central African Countries Community, to ensure that support given to DRC is well coordinated.
There is no doubt that achieving lasting peace and security in Eastern DRC will pave the way for the country's meaningful economic and social progress and for its meaningful contribution to the regional integration, leading up to a peaceful and more integrated and prosperous region.
DRC is set to hold elections in December this year, with President Felix Tshisekedi having confirmed last year that the polls would go ahead as planned. SADC says consolidating gains made to ensure peaceful transfer of power during the 2018 elections remains key in accordance with the region's election guidelines.
From Windhoek, we come now here to Tanzania, where the Tanzania Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, through National Executive Council meeting, has appointed a new top board leadership that will serve for a period of 6 months until the general election is held through the general meeting. The dissolution of the board follows the escalation of conflicts within the board, a situation that has greatly affected the business and economic development of the chamber. The acting vice president of the chamber in charge of industries, Vincent Minja, says the new leaders who are acting in those positions have been given the responsibility of developing and restoring confidence to the members.
New board members and the new leaderships from the headquarters would like to tell all community that now TCCIA have got no problem, no conflict as before, and we would like to get your cooperation so that we can move forward to develop our private sector interest and also to help our nation in the development. We are very much aware that in one way or another, in the last 2 years, we didn't make our responsibility as was expected from our partners and also from our business community. We apologize for the whole inconvenience which happened in these 2 years.
Among the appointed leaders are Acting President Edmund Mkwawa, Acting Vice President for Industry Vincent Mincha, Acting Vice President for Agriculture Charles Chenza, Acting Vice President for Business Eric Sichingwa, and Acting Executive Director of the Chamber Mwanahamisi Hussein. Inspector General of Police Camillus Wambura says police officers from the Tanzania Police Force are expected to receive special training in Korea as part of the implementation of cooperation agreement between Korea International Cooperation Agency (KOICA) and the Tanzania Police Force. Apasia Ringo has more details.
IGP Wambura made the statement in Dar es Salaam during the signing of a 3-year cooperation agreement between the Korean Development Agency and the police force.
Tuna maeneo mengi ambayo tuliainisha na Mheshimiwa Barozi.
There are many areas that we have identified, and the ambassador connected with us, KOICA, and our teams of experts have discussed in which areas of cooperation, but we need more training here. We have signed an agreement to train our officers, soldiers, and inspectors in Korea. This is a 3-year agreement, and this is training will be done in Korea in order to be more productive. Trainers from Korea will come here, and we will have a larger number of inspectors and soldiers who will be trained.
Ambao watapata mafunzo, lakini pia wengine watakwenda kule.
On his part, the KOICA Resident Director Manshik Shin says that the collaboration is a continuation of a historical and a productive cooperation that has lasted for many years between South Korea and Tanzania.
We are here to sign the MOU through which KOICA is committing to support training of police personnel in various fields of specialization. The training will take place both in Tanzania and in Korea. We started this kind of cooperation many years ago, and you can recall that a number of police personnel have received training through our school.
South Korean Ambassador Son Pyo Kim has commended the Tanzanian police force for their performance.
I met the Honorable Mr. Wambura, and he mentioned the need to cooperate between Korea and Tanzania for strengthening police cooperation. And then I and Mr. Chin, KOICA Director, we discussed and we decided to do something to cooperate with Tanzania police force.
The event was also attended by various police commissioners, a representative from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, officers from the Korean Embassy and KOICA.
The Foundation for Civil Society, FCS, in collaboration with the development stakeholders, have come up with a 3-year plan for Tanzanian citizens that aims to enable every citizen to participate in the constitutional review process. Speaking after the signing of 4.9 billion Tanzanian shillings from the European Union, FCS Executive Director Francis Kiwanga says the funds will facilitate the process in all regions in Tanzania.
Mpaka sasa hivi kiasi chote cha fedha ambacho tumeweza kukipata ni.
Until now, the total amount of money we have received is 4 billion shillings, which will go directly to the process. We will work in this big institution, and we will also work in the regions. We will start with the 3 institutions we signed the agreement with, then 12 institutions, and after that, we will work with other rural institutions.
On their part, the development stakeholders say that the participation of the citizens in the process will end the complaints of not being properly involved in the processes of national interests.
Further deal with the constitutional area, how we involve NGO and the citizen to participate in the constitution process. But also, as you know, we have laws that need to be amended. We have election laws and others. So for this period of 3 years, our biggest task is to see the change is happening in the country.
Tuone kwamba kuna mabadiliko yamefanyika katika nchi hii.
Tumejipanga vizuri kwa sababu shughuli yetu kubwa katika mradi huu.
We are well organized because our main task for this project is to look at all laws related to the upcoming election, as well as the laws related to the constitution-making process and the development future capacity of NGO so that they can engage effectively with the government and the various stakeholders.
Ili ziweze kuwa na ile meaningful engagement na serikali lakini pia na wadau mbalimbali.
The Tanzania Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture for the first time has presented a certificate of origin to ETG Company for the shipment of 9 containers weighing 172 tons of green Robusta coffee in the Algerian market and the African Free Trade Area program. Handing over the product's certificate of origin in Dar es Salaam, Acting Executive Director Mwanamis Hussein from TCCIA explains that the certificate allows the business to receive a reduction of customs in tax from 35% to 12%.
As a Chamber of Commerce, we promise to continue to do sensitization about the certificate of CFTA and other certificate. We provide 13 certificate of origin, but this one is the new one in our African continent. But also we will continue to capacitate our internal staff, which provide that service. And also I would like to announce to our business community to come to TCCIA to take this certificate of origin when they export the product outside the country. But also I would like to inform that certificate of origin from Chamber of Commerce, they will get it from our region branches. Tanzania Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, we are all over the country.
On his part, the Acting Director General of the Tanzania Business Development Authority, TanTrade, urges local businessmen to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area to enable the country to increase competition in the African Free Trade Zone and also get a relief from customs taxes.
Opportunity to encourage them, to encourage other exporters, to encourage other traders to make sure they utilize this opportunity, which is a rare opportunity. The target by 2040 is to make sure that the inter-trade in Africa to reach about 50%.
We are really appreciative of the certificates of origin we received from TCCIA because it allowed us to achieve a customs duty reduction of roughly 23% from 35% to 12%, which will allow for additional business.
Wheat farmers in Rukwa region say they are grateful to the government for providing them with subsidized fertilizers, which has made a revolution in the cultivation of the crop compared to other crops in the region. The farmers say the production of wheat will increase due to the use of the fertilizers in their farms. Here is a report by Jose Cheo, read by Lua Muhammad.
As a result of more than 150 billion given by the government with the aim of reducing the cost of fertilizers for the farmers, wheat farmers in Rukwa region have benefited from the subsidized fertilizers this season. We are very grateful to our President, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, for providing us with fertilizers. We have done a great job of cultivating this year, and we anticipate success.
Na tunategemea kwa kweli mwaka huu utakuwa wa neema.
Mbolea tunazozipata.
We need to fertilize these crops twice because the fertilizers we received only last a short time.
Awamu mbili. Yetu kwa msimu unaokuja.
For the coming season, the wheat crops will increase because this year's weather is showing to be good and the people have sold it at a good price.
Ni wakulima wadogo wadogo ambao hawajapata maeneo makubwa.
The wheat crop is the fourth crop produced in Rukwa region, preceded by maize, gourd and beans crops. According to a study conducted by the Uyole Agricultural Research Institute, the wheat produced in Rukwa region has a better quality compared to the wheat from other areas in the country.
From Rukwa region now we go to Iringa region, where the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, says it is well pleased with the implementation of school water sanitation and hygiene WASH project in Iringa region. The head of WASH program in Tanzania, Franco Odhiambo, says the project in Iringa and Mufindi districts have shown positive results in reducing infectious diseases amongst the people of rural areas. Irene Mwakalinga from Iringa region has more details.
The mission of the United Nations Children Organization, UNICEF, has inspected the toilet structures of primary schools and some households that have improved their toilets in Igombavanu Ward in Mufindi District and Kisinga Ward in Iringa District.
I'm really pleased that your region has made remarkable progress since this project was initiated. And this is due to the commitment of the political leadership in the region, but also the administrative leadership.
The Iringa Regional Health Officer Hadij Harun said that the environmental sanitation campaign, popularly known as Nyumbani Choo, have contributed to the region reaching 91% of households with good toilets in the region.
We have succeeded in reaching 91% of households with toilets regionally. The goal is to ensure that all villages get sanitation certificates by June 2023, where we have currently reached 65%.
The leader of the delegation, who is the representative of the Dutch government and the main donors of the WASH project, Johanna Bach, said that UNICEF is satisfied with the implementation of the project, which has affected the people and reduced the infectious diseases.
And I would like to let you know that sustainability is one of the main policy goals of the Netherlands. We think that is very important, also for further support.
The Iringa Regional Commissioner Halima Dendego thanked UNICEF for ensuring the clean water and sanitation services are improved in the country.
Coverage has increased, access to improved sanitation has increased, hand hygiene coverage has increased, WASH clubs have been established. Countrywide, the region is among the best performing in the national sanitation campaigns.
The UNICEF delegation was accompanied by representatives from Senegal and Gambia who came to study Iringa, which is one of the successful regions in the national campaign. Irene Mwakalinga, TBC, Iringa.
Thank you very much, Irene Mwakalinga from Iringa region. Before we wind up our local news tonight, let us now have a look on today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. And here is international news with Apasia Ringo.
The government in the Democratic Republic of Congo has announced to use alternative ways to reach the floods-affected areas in order to provide food and other human basic needs to the victims. The DRC government spokesperson Patrick Muayaya has said the only ways to reach the affected areas is by air or water through Lake Kivu because most of the roads to Bushushu and Nyamukubi in South Kivu province has been damaged by floods. He also said the government is working very close with the international aid agencies to bring medicine and humanitarian workers to help the survivors. Floods and landslides hit 2 villages in eastern DRC last week, and since then people have been digging through the mud with their hands in a desperate search for missing relatives. Kenyan Interior Minister Kithure Kindiki has said the government has resumed the exercise to exhume bodies of suspected starvation cult members in Shakahola Forest. Speaking to the media, Minister Kithure stated that the government would use all available resources to determine what had occurred at Shakahola. He referred to the Shakahola massacre as one of the worst tragedies in Kenyan history, in which it is estimated that over 109 people perished, some from starvation, believing they would meet.
And I think I am advised by the experts that we should not preempt the investigations. It's a theory, as I said the other time, it's a theory we're investigating. The reports that came from the morgue are still being finalized, and I don't want to preempt the matter beyond there. Change of tactics, the answer is yes. Every time, every week, every other so often, we are looking of better ways of quickening the search and rescue. So we've made some improvements which will be implemented this week. And as I've said, even the air support or the use of aircraft has not been ruled out, and you'll see some action.
That was international news. Sports news up next. And here is sports news with Mario Cheto.
Young Africans Information Officer Ali Kamu urges fans not to fire gun powder during the Confederation Cup semi-finals match against Maruma Galaxy to be played at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium tomorrow. Kamu calls on fans to support the team, adhering the Confederation of African Football CAF regulations so as to avoid sanctions.
Kuwaomba mashabiki wa Young Africans na Watanzania.
We ask young African fans and Tanzanians who return up to Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, they have to be with discipline because any mistake they will do will affect the team and fans, and they will not be able to watch next matches.
Timu yao kaenda hatua ya finali inshallah.
Confederation of African Football CAF fined Young Africans $35 million equal to 80 million Tanzanian shillings after their fans committed various offenses in the quarter-final match against Rivers United.
That was all the latest in sports with Mario Cheto. And before we conclude our news bulletin tonight, let's take a look at the weather forecast.
Hello and welcome to the next 24 hours of forecast starting tonight at 9 p.m. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, my name is Ramadan Omari. Let's start with the wind flow pattern for tomorrow. Coastal wind is expected to flow at 30 km/h, especially over the northern coast. While over the southern coast, wind speed is expected to reach 40 km/h, and the state of the sea is expected to be moderate to rough. Over the Lake Victoria Basin, Lake Tanganyika and Nyasa, wind speed is expected to reach 20 km/h. And tonight, few areas, especially along Lake Victoria Basin towards Kigoma region, are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, thunder showers, while over northeastern highland, we are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, rain showers over few areas. Tanga, together with Unguja and Pemba ISOs, are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, light rain showers over few areas. And the remaining regions are expected to feature just partly cloudy conditions. And tomorrow, few areas of Mara, Simiyu, Mwanza, Geita, Kagera, and the Kigoma regions are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, thunder showers over few areas in sun period. While over northeastern highland, Tanga, Dar es Salaam, Pwani, together with Unguja and Pemba ISOs, are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, rain showers over few areas. Over Rukwa, Morogoro, Ruvuma, and the southern coast are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, light rain showers over few areas. And the remaining regions are expected to feature just the partly cloudy condition and sun periods. And now, let's have a look on the next 4 days of forecast over some regions of our country.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. I am Nasa